The Red Sox have the 5th best record in baseball, but the Yankees have been even better. Tonight, Red Sox on Deck gets you ready for the first head-to-head battle of the season. And we'll have the latest on that battle in New York a few days ago. Also, Jerry Remy goes one-on-one with Sox general manager Dan Duquette. And you'll meet Mr. Gustafson. You might not recognize him, but he's been famous for 50 years. Also, John Holt on the old-fashioned work ethic of Jason Varitek. It's an old-fashioned rivalry weekend starting right now with Red Sox on Deck.
'68 Sports presents Red Sox on Deck. Brought to you by New England Ford. See your New England Ford dealer today. By Dunkin' Donuts. Something fresh is always brewing here. By the Bay Tower, Boston's most romantic restaurant. And by the new Dodge. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you. Now, from the '68 Sports Studios, here's your host, Doug Brown.
Good evening to you, and thanks so much for joining us. Welcome. It's finally here, the first series of the year between the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. I'm Doug Brown. Glad to have you along. We will have 2 of the 3 games for you this weekend. Tonight, the pitching matchup features Red Sox knuckleballer Tim Wakefield, who's won 5 in a row, and 25-year-old right-hander Ramiro Mendoza. Sean McDonough and Jerry Remy will have the call from Fenway Park at the top of the hour. Well, if it isn't one thing, it's another. The Red Sox have injuries. The Yankees have suspensions. Sean and Jerry will have the latest on the most recent Red Sox to get dinged up, Mark Lemke and Damon Buford, a little bit later on in our broadcast. And as for those Yankee suspensions, well, they came from Tuesday night's brawl with the Orioles down in New York. But there's been a new twist today. The Yankees are now appealing the suspensions of Darryl Strawberry, Graham Lloyd, and Jeff Nelson. Nelson's suspension wouldn't have started until Monday, but the appeal does allow Darryl Strawberry and Graham Lloyd to play in this series this weekend, at least until American League President Gene Budig schedules a hearing, which could be as early as Sunday. Strawberry has already served 2 of his 3-game suspension. He is in the lineup tonight. Lloyd would have started his suspension tomorrow. Well, already this week, the Yankees have had a full-scale brawl. They've swept 3 games against the Orioles, and they've had a perfect game. But the big baseball news in New York tonight comes from the New York Mets. In case you haven't heard it yet, Mike Piazza is on the move again. He spent just 5 games with the Florida Marlins, but as expected, he now goes again. Another trade, this time to the New York Mets, in exchange for Preston Wilson, a promising young outfielder who made his Major League debut just a couple of weeks ago. A great left-handed prospect, pitching prospect, Ed Yarnall, who is 7-0 in Double-A with Binghamton right now, and also a player to be named later. By the way, the 5 games that Mike Piazza spent with the Florida Marlins will cost the team a grand total of $300,000 and change. Well, John Holt is coming up next with Close Up, but first, a look at today's baseball birthdays. And they are brought to you, as always, by the Bay Tower, Boston's most romantic restaurant. And among those on the list, Walt Riniak and Vaughn Eshelman, familiar to Red Sox fans. We'll be back. Don't go away. And now this 26-year-old rookie has become somewhat of a lucky charm for the Red Sox. John Holt has tonight's close-up on Jason Varitek. John?
Thanks, Doug. Red Sox-Yankees games conjure up memories of years gone by. And if you're looking for a player that himself has that old-fashioned way about him, I offer up Sox switch-hitting catcher Jason Varitek. A true throwback, and maybe the only person on the team who sprints to his position as feverishly as Wendell Kim.
The old style. I think that, you know, it's just the way I grew up. I have a lot to take from my parents. You know, they always, whatever I did, I had to give it 110%, or so I wasn't allowed to do it.
It's not necessarily a old throwback, but doggone it, man, it's something you like to see, and everybody, it kind of rubs off on the other players, and the results are being shown.
The results can't be ignored. The Red Sox are an amazing 15-1 when Varitek is in the starting lineup. A videotape of the way he hustles, sprinting everywhere he goes, should be required viewing for every young ball player. It was Pete Rose who used to race to first base after a walk, and it was Jason Varitek who sprinted around the bases following his first Major League home run 2 weeks ago.
That's a well-hit ball to center, way back, and gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something that I do. I run hard. I may have ran a little harder than I normally do, being my first one, but I mean, I don't spend much time, you know, going slow around the bases because I got to get my equipment back on and get back out on the field.
Jason may be the only Sox player who has to suit up before each and every inning, but his businesslike demeanor on the diamond goes far beyond his position's dress code. The player, regarded by many as college baseball's all-time best catcher, is committed to proving he can be more than an outstanding amateur. Committed to proving that the word professional describes him to a T.
He doesn't just hustle and work hard. He works smart. He does a good job of learning the other hitters on the other ball clubs and learning how to get to a point where we can get those hitters out. And he's done a good job of learning each and every hitter on the other teams, and that's helping our pitching staff tremendously.
I think sometimes if you're going through a lull or, you know, the team's maybe not doing real well, maybe it'll help turn some heads. And maybe it'll help, you know, guys tick it up a notch because, you know, probably the most grueling position to play is catch, and they see a catcher hustle. Maybe it'll rub off on somebody.
As you may sense, Varitek is all business, even during interviews. The one time he did let loose was when I asked what it was like to catch knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. Jason jokes that Wake's knuckleball is a lot like the changeup from the RBI Nintendo video game. He'll contend with it again tonight, too.
Yeah, he's starting and catching Wakefield and batting eighth. Looks like he's going for that Nintendo endorsement, too. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. The Red Sox and Yankees coming up shortly from Fenway Park. But next from Fenway, Dan Duquette and Jerry Remy. That's when Red Sox On Deck rolls on. Stay with us. League leaders are brought to you by the New England Ford dealers. See your New England Ford dealer today. Well, what do you know? The four pitchers with the longest active winning streaks in the American League all pitch for these two teams. Wakefield and Martinez for the Red Sox, Wells and Cone for the Yankees. Welcome back to the show. Well, it's probably fair to say that it isn't just the players that are looking forward to these 7 games with the Yankees this weekend and next weekend. Time for another Friday visit now with Red Sox Executive Vice President and General Manager Dan Duquette. He's standing by over at Fenway Park with our Jerry Remy. Guys?
Okay, well, thank you, Doug. And Dan, this is a big weekend in Boston, obviously. Baseball tradition. The Yankees are in town, and I think everybody gets pumped up for it, not only the media, but I think that brings the players to another level. Now we have 3 front office people, yourself, John Harrington, and John Buckley, all from New England. What about the front office? They get pumped up, too?
Well, there's a certain buzz around the ballpark whenever you have the top teams, and the Yankees, of course, are a great rival. And everybody wants to do well when people are watching you. And with the focus of New York and Boston together, you got everybody on the East Coast following the Red Sox this weekend. And we'll have not just great crowds, but we'll have a lot of interest. Everybody will be watching and listening throughout New England and throughout New York. And you know, every time these two teams play, you play for the geographical bragging rights. You know, even if it's only for a day, it's just a great rivalry, and it's nice that they're in here early and that, you know, we're right near them at this point in the season.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your team coming into this series. Obviously, injuries are a major factor in it, but not to use an excuse. When you have injuries, though, it brings other people to the forefront, and one guy that's really stepped up and done a nice job is Mike Benjamin.
Well, Benjamin's done a great job. He's made all the plays defensively at shortstop. He's contributed offensively. He's moved runners. But the biggest thing is he's given the pitchers a lot of confidence. You've got a good pitching staff, and when you have an injury to a top player like Nomar, it's nice to have somebody of Benjamin's caliber and experience and ability to step in and do the job. Now, you know, Nomar, there's a chance we'll have him for next week's series, but we're not going to have him this week, and everybody knows that. But the good thing is that we've got players like Benjamin that have filled in. Lou Merloni has come up and done a nice job contributing offensively and making the routine plays, and that's what you're looking for when you have a good organization, when you have some depth. Those people need to come up and help you.
Speaking of Maloney, I think maybe you learned something from this, that you should draft all New England kids, and as soon as you sign them, change their name to Lou.
Well, he's very popular, and I love to hear the Lou when it comes out at the ballpark, because the fans are interested. You know, they want to see the kid do well. But he came up with a big hit. Of course, he had a 3-run home run last Friday. And then he came up with a big hit against the White Sox to break the game open. So he's shown already that he can contribute, and he contributed in those 2 wins with his bat. He made a good defensive play last weekend against the Royals, and he made the routine plays playing second base, which again, that's what you need when you have your reserve step in.
Let's talk about one of the real bright spots, and that's the closer in Tom Gordon. This was a move that started last season, putting him out in the bullpen after being a starting pitcher. How did this come about?
Well, Gordon's been terrific. He's probably the best reliever so far in the league this year. When we originally signed Gordon, we had in mind that towards the end of the contract, he might be a closer for us because he started as a reliever. He got the great curveball, and we thought if he concentrated on getting that breaking ball over and throwing the fastball, that with 2 pitches, he'd be a more powerful pitcher. But last year, we had it under consideration, but we wanted him to get the 3rd year in his contract. He did that, and then after that, Jimmy Williams and Joe moved him to the closer role, and he's been great. They've limited him to 2 pitches. He comes in, he throws strike 1, he's ahead of the hitter. He can get that curveball over. His fastball is a little bit harder. And when you have somebody like that to come in and close out the game, it just gives the team a lot of confidence.
Dan, one last question. Last night, John Valentin, a big award for the organization. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Val has done a lot of work, as you know, with the Jimmy Fund, and we have a special ceremony tonight where we're going to introduce the original Jimmy, who the Jimmy Fund's named after. But John's done a lot of work behind the scenes with the Jimmy Fund, and he was recognized by the Boston JCs, the Junior Chamber of Commerce, as one of their 10 outstanding young leaders. He made a very moving speech last night, and he was recognized for his leadership ability, his excellence, but also contributing to the community. And I thought he was a real fine representative for the Red Sox. Carl Yastrzemski's gotten that award in the past. Jimmy Rice, and in '96, they honored me as one of their leaders. But it was great for the organization. John did a great job, and we were real proud of him and the work that he does for the Jimmy Fund.
Dan, thanks for your time. We'll talk to you next week from the Big Apple.
Okay.
Doug, back to you.
All right, Jimmy. Not Jimmy, but Jerry. Thanks, Jerry and Dan. Speaking of the Jimmy Fund, Dan Duquette just spoke about it a moment ago. Have you ever wondered who's Jimmy? We'll go back out to Fenway for a special pregame ceremony after a quick timeout. Don't go away. Welcome back to Red Sox on Deck. Sox and Yankees coming up in just a few minutes. And a reminder quickly for those of you on the flagship stations that we will have another post-game edition of 68 Sports Night with Butch Stearns taking your calls. All the baseball news of the day. Of course, more on tonight's game and more on the trade of Mike Piazza as well. Well, the Red Sox have become so closely identified with the Jimmy Fund over the years, it may surprise you that the 12-year-old cancer patient who inspired the name of the charity was a Boston Braves fan. He was given the name Jimmy to conceal his identity. There's a special ceremony over at Fenway Park tonight to honor the birth of the Jimmy Fund. Let's get over to Fenway to Ed Brickley, the public address announcer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we ask that you please direct your attention to the field area in front of the Red Sox dugout for a very special ceremony which will be presented to you by former great Red Sox broadcaster Ken Coleman.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed Brickley. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've had the privilege of spending 20 summers of my life in this great ballpark. And I've been on this field countless times for special events, like the retirement of the 4 numbers that you see out there by the Jimmy Fund sign. Number 1, Bobby Doerr. Number 4, Joe Cronin. Number 8, Carl Yastrzemski. And of course, number 9, Ted Williams. And I know how much Ted would like to be here with us tonight. This is a very special night to me because we're going to bring back someone who is almost a bigger part of this ballpark as Ted is. Standing alongside me here are some special people. Lou Perini was the president of the Boston Braves when the Variety Club of New England and Dr. Sidney Farber approached him with the hope that he would help in the fight against cancer in children. Mr. Perini accepted that challenge, and today, Lou Perini's son carries on this effort. He and his wife, Eileen, who have lost a son to cancer, have established the David Perini Jr. Quality of Life Clinic at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Please welcome David Perini. The Jimmy Fund requires a leader, and they had a great one in the late William S. Coster, now at the helm, doing superb work, the former Red Sox second baseman, the executive director of the Jimmy Fund, Mike Andrews. The Red Sox first got involved with the Jimmy Fund unofficially, but when the Braves left Boston, Lou Perini asked Tom Yawkey if the Red Sox would make the Jimmy Fund their official charity. And they did. Did they ever? And when Mr. and Mrs. Yawkey left us, the Red Sox carried on, led by their chief executive officer, John Harrington. And we have some other very special folks that you will meet shortly. 50 years ago, this very night, the 22nd of May, 1948, the Jimmy Fund was born. On his Truth the Consequences radio program, Ralph Edwards interviewed a young cancer patient they called Jimmy. Ralph in California, Jimmy at Children's Hospital, about a mile up the street from where we are right now. Jimmy was 12 years old. Here is an excerpt from that broadcast.
Now, by the magic of radio, we're going to span the breadth of the United States and take you right up to the bedside of Jimmy in one of America's great cities, Boston, Massachusetts, and into one of America's great hospitals, the Children's Hospital in Boston, whose staff is doing such an outstanding job of cancer research for the cause of not only Boston children, but children in every city in the world. Up to now, Jimmy has not heard us. And now we tune in a speaker in his room in the hospital. All right, engineers, Johnny Pollock here, and in Boston, give us Jimmy, please. Hello, Jimmy.
Hi.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Ralph Edwards of the Truth or Consequences radio program. Well, I heard you like baseball. Is that right?
Yes, that's my favorite sport.
It's your favorite sport. Who do you think is going to win the pennant this year?
The Boston Braves, I hope.
Who is the catcher?
Phil Macy.
That's right, Phil Macy, a member of the National League All-Stars team for several seasons. Have you ever met Phil Macy?
No.
Hi, Jimmy. My name is Phil Macy.
Well, who's that, Jimmy?
Phil Macy.
Where is he?
In my room.
Well, what do you know? Right there in your hospital room. Yeah, that's Phil Macy from Berwyn, Illinois. Who's the best home run hitter on the team, Jimmy?
Jeff Heath.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jimmy. I bet you can sock him, too.
Who's that, Jimmy?
Jeff Heath.
Yeah. Right in your room there?
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's Jeff Heath. He's second only to Ted Williams last year in home runs. He's from Seattle, Washington.
All of us ball players have really looked forward to meeting you tonight, Jimmy, and we'd like to present you with some T-shirts with pictures and autographs of some of the ball players on the Boston Braves. And, Jimmy, there's an added surprise. A regulation Boston Braves uniform tailored to your size and a fielder's mitt autographed by yours truly.
Isn't that...
And doggone it, we're going to win tomorrow's game for you, Jimmy. Aren't we, fellas?
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the
Jimmy.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Edwards.
Well, thank you very much, Jimmy. So long.
For many years after, there were conflicting stories about whether Jimmy was alive. It was rare when children survived cancer in 1948. But Jimmy did, and as Dan Shaughnessy so eloquently put it in his story last Sunday, our Jimmy, who is a truck driver with his own business, a week ago hauled 43,000 pounds of cheese from Allentown, Pennsylvania to Ayer, Massachusetts. And now he is delivering hope to millions of people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 62-year-old Carl Einar Gustafson, known to all of us as Jimmy.
Standing here with my family behind me, my wife, Gloria, my daughters, Lynn and Lisa, and my grandchildren. I'm sure you can see what I'm thankful for. They are really what helping in the fighting of cancer is all about. All of you baseball fans, and lots of people from all over New England and the country, help give me and countless other families this, a wonderful life. 50 years ago, I was a scared, sick little boy when the Boston Braves gave me this uniform. To me, this is the start of getting better. I've been finding out this week that to everyone at Dana-Farber, this uniform really symbolizes the very beginning of the war against cancer. Well, in 50 years, I've come a long way. And cancer research and care have certainly gone a long way too. But I hope we don't forget there's still a lot of kids today who need our help and care. So now I'll call with almost the same words I said to Ralph Edwards and the Braves so many, many years ago. This time, I hope the Red Sox win the pennant. Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Jimmy. We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go as we stand on the brink of new discoveries that could wipe out this terrible disease that affects all of us. The Red Sox are following in the spirit of the Boston Braves. With us to make a special presentation are two of the Red Sox who, like many others over the years, have given their time and talent and energy and effort, and they're here to help us once again. One of the greatest players to ever wear a Red Sox uniform, a former honorary chairman of the Jimmy Fund, now the team's batting instructor, a member of the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Let's hear it for Jim Rice. And this next player has dedicated himself to the cause. Not only does he frequently visit patients at the Jimmy Fund Clinic, he gets to know them, even traveling to their homes to help raise their spirits. John Valentin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's welcome another young Jimmy Fund Clinic patient who will stand for our recommitment to finding a cure. 11-year-old Xavier Lugo from Hyde Park. Now the jersey that Xavier's getting here from Jim and John is a gift from the Red Sox, and it symbolizes the hope for the future and the Red Sox and the Jimmy Fund's commitment to finding a cure. And you can tell by the size of that uniform shirt that the Red Sox have plans for Xavier to grow into it. All right. The Jimmy Fund thanks the Red Sox and their wonderful fans, all of you, for this magnificent night. Now, please join me in a round of applause to show support for everyone who is fighting cancer. And let's commit to redoubling our efforts. I know you'll all continue supporting the Jimmy Fund because it takes more than courage to fight cancer. Let's hear it.
Well, there is hardly a family anywhere that isn't affected by the battle against cancer, and a terrific ceremony over at Fenway Park this evening, and a terrific story indeed. 62-year-old Carl Einar Gustafsson, again, that Ralph Edwards radio broadcast 50 years ago tonight, the birth of the Jimmy Fund, and the battle continues. Well, the game is next from Fenway Park. A quick reminder, we will have another Red Sox on deck for you on Sunday afternoon before the final game of this three-game series. We'll be with you for that at 12:30. But Sean and Jerry are next from Fenway Park with the starting lineups. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
But fighting is never the answer, unless you're fighting for the respect of your arch rival.
The Red Sox would like to be perfect this weekend and take a step closer to first place. But it's New York who knows all about perfection so far this season. The Yankees invade Fenway tonight in a battle between number 1 and number 2. Next on 68 Sports.
Sports presents Boston Red Sox baseball tonight from Fenway Park, the long-awaited first meeting of the season between the Red Sox and the New York Yankees. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Jerry Remy. It's great to have you with us. This series certainly is the talk of the town. The Yankees off to the best start in all of Major League Baseball. As a matter of fact, at 31-9, they're off to the second best start in Major League Baseball in the last 50 years, surpassed only by the Tigers in 1984. But the Red Sox are hanging in there 5 games behind, with 3 games to be played between these two teams this weekend. Jerry, when you look at this Yankee team, hard to find any weaknesses.
Oh, really? They've won games all kind of ways with the offense, with the defense, and, of course, great pitching. And I think, Sean, this is a team that's going to get better as the season goes on. They've got some guys offensively, Knobloch, Bernie Williams, O'Neill, that have not yet hit their stride. So it's going to be dangerous, especially offensively. It should be a good matchup for the Red Sox. They got a tough schedule coming up, and they always say you got to beat up on the bad teams and hold your own against the good teams. Well, this is a good team in town this weekend.
And the Red Sox will be playing them without Damon Buford. He was placed on the disabled list today with a knee injury. Trot Nixon has been called up from Pawtucket to take his place in the roster. We'll have the first pitch of tonight's game from Fenway Park in just a moment, but first, back to our 68 Sports studios. Here's Doug.
All right, Sean and Jerry, thanks so much. Well, it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? The first meeting of this season between the Yankees and the Red Sox. It's game 45 for the Sox of this season, but they're first against the Yankees. They're first against any Eastern Division club this season. Tonight's starting pitchers are brought to you by your New England Ford dealers. See your New England Ford dealer today. It'll be Tim Wakefield going for the Sox, and he has been on fire. He has won 5 straight starts. He's been outstanding. Ramiro Mendoza, who's actually worked in relief a couple of times this year for the Yankees, making his 8th start, carrying a 3-1 record into tonight. Sean and Jerry have the lineups coming up from Fenway. Enjoy it.
Fenway Park, and ready for tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Once again, here's Ed Brickley.
Carl Inger Gustafson, who is fondly known as Jimmy, along with Xavier Lugo, one of our special friends from the Jimmy Fund.
And if you're just tuning in, you missed a very touching pregame ceremony involving Mr. Gustafson. The original Jimmy from 50 years ago, now 62 years old. And the Red Sox are taking the field. Tremendous atmosphere in the ballpark tonight. Obviously, big anticipation for this series. Usually, for these 7 o'clock starts around game time, there are a lot of empty seats. The people take their time strolling into the ballpark. But tonight, most of the folks are here and ready for the first pitch, as the Red Sox and Yankees meet for the first time this season. Starting lineups are brought to you by your friendly New England Dodge dealers. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. The Yankees, with the best record in baseball at 31-9, have Chuck Knobloch, the second baseman, leading off. Derek Jeter is the shortstop. Batting third in right field, Paul O'Neill. The cleanup hitter, first baseman Tito Martinez. Bernie Williams is in center field. Darryl Strawberry, the DH, will bat 6th. Tim Raines makes the start in left field. Jorge Posada is the catcher. And batting 9th, third baseman Scott Brocious against knuckleballer Tim Wakefield, and he's on a roll.
He really is. 5-1 now on the season, a 4.13 ERA, and that ERA has been coming down with every start. He's won 5 in a row. His most recent against the Kansas City Royals, that was on May 15th. Tim is 2-2 in 4 games started in his career against the New York Yankees, and he's just not walking anybody. As a matter of fact, he's in the top 10 as far as fewest walks per 9 innings in the American League.
And the defense behind him is brought to you by Toyota. Red Sox 9th in the American League in team fielding. They have Troy O'Leary in left field, Darren Lewis in center, Darren Bragg in right, John Valentin at third base, Mike Benjamin at short, Lou Merlone for Mark Lemke at second, Mo Vaughn at first, and Jason Varitek gets the start behind the plate. And that's a new look for the Red Sox in recent days, with the Yankees starting a right-handed pitcher, Ramiro Mendoza. This series is underway. Wakefield's knuckleball in for strike one to Chuck Knobloch. Knobloch, with his average well below where you would expect it to be in his first year with the Yankees, batting .256. 2 homers, 10 runs batted in. He pulls one foul, and he's in the hole 0-2. Tim McClelland is the home plate umpire tonight. John Hirschbeck has the plays at first base. Rich Garcia, the crew chief, at second. Mike Riley at third. This is clearly one of the best umpiring crews in the American League here for the big series this weekend. Check swing at a knuckleball that was just a little bit high. Gusty wind conditions here tonight. We'll see if that helps or hurts the knuckleballs of Wakefield. The wind out of the northwest at 17 miles per hour. That one looked good. McClelland wouldn't ring him up. It looked like Wakefield wanted the call as he turned away. Breeze blowing in from left center toward the first base line. Should knock down anything hit to left. And now from 0-2 to 3-2. Breeze gusting up to 25 miles per hour. The temperature 67 degrees and a little bit cool when you factor in the wind. Now the 3-2. Slap down the right field line, and that is a foul ball, and not by much. That's a ball that you would expect to slice and get pushed toward the stands by the wind, but that hugged the line all the way down and nearly dropped in fair territory.
First looked at it, Sean. I thought it dropped right on the line, but you see clearly on replay it's just in foul territory. But the ball should go pretty good tonight out toward right field the way that wind's blowing.
Another 3-2 from Wakefield, and the knuckleball drifts high. Wakefield thought he had him early in the count and didn't get the call from McClelland, and now a good base runner is aboard. Knobloch at first to start the ball game.
Now the Yankees are second in the American League in stolen base. They have 50 as a team. Knobloch has 9. They are second to the Toronto Blue Jays, but that's the big difference in the Yankees this year. They've got some guys that can run and steal bases. Not the power hitting Yankees so far this season, but it's guys winning games in a lot of different ways.
Knobloch runs on the first pitch. The throw from Varitek, a good one, and Knobloch is out by a mile. What a throw by Varitek.
Well, right now Jason Varitek is making a bid to become the everyday catcher for the Red Sox, and he's really throwing well. 29% coming into the game, and plenty to spare there to get Knobloch at second base. He got some help with the quick delivery from Wakefield.
Well, you'd think they'd have a tough time throwing out runners with Wakefield out there because the ball comes up there so slowly, usually in the high 60s or about 70 miles per hour, but he gets it to the plate quickly. But still, when you're the catcher and you have to handle the knuckleball cleanly and then get ready to throw, that has to be a little bit disconcerting too.
Well, base stealers can't wait to get on against a knuckleball pitch because they feel that's a gimme. You know, they're going to have an easy stolen base. All those things have to work right for them to throw them out, and it's been happening that way with Wakefield on the mound.
Now the 1-2 to Derek Jeter. Knuckleball up under his chin. Jeter having a terrific season. .335 with 7 home runs and 28 runs batted in. He's tied for 4th in the American League in hitting. And Wakefield's gone to another full count. He walked Knobloch on the second 3-2 pitch a moment ago. Jeter had a 15-game hitting streak snapped last night in the Yankees win against Baltimore Yankee Stadium when he was 0 for 3 with a walk. Tim McClelland calling that one a foul ball. Varitek and Wakefield chased after. They want to know why it's a foul ball, and Jimmy Williams has come up the steps of the dugout.
It's unusual to see that reaction from both the pitcher and the catcher at the same time, feeling there was no contact. Certainly tough to tell on the replay whether there was contact or not.
No contact that time. Jeter goes down swinging for the second out of the ball game.
Wakefield's been getting 5-6 strikeouts a ball game, especially in his last 5 starts. And strikes out Jeter there for the second out of the first inning. A little electricity in the ballpark tonight, huh?
As there usually is when the Yankees are here, but as has been noted in recent days and many articles leading up to this series, it's been rare in recent years that both teams have been good in the same year. Some years the Yankees have been good and the Red Sox have not, and vice versa. But this year both teams off to a terrific start. The rivalry, one of the greatest in all of sports, is that much better when both have a contending ball club. Paul O'Neill up there with a count of 2-0 now. 314 the average for O'Neill. Just 3 homers, 29 runs batted in. Fisted to short to Mike Benjamin. And the Yankees are finished in the first after a half inning. No score on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Here is their starting lineup tonight. Darren Lewis is in center field. Darren Bragg bats second in right field. Mo Vaughn, the first baseman, hits third. Jim Leyritz makes a start against a right-handed pitcher as the cleanup hitter in DH. Troy O'Leary in left. John Valentin, the third baseman. Mike Benjamin once again the starting shortstop. Jason Varitek gets the call behind the plate. And Lou Merlone, the second baseman, bats ninth against Ramiro Mendoza.
Red Sox facing a hot pitcher in Mendoza. 3 straight wins for him, and in those 3 wins he's only allowed 2 earned runs. You see the record of 3-1, 3.49 ERA. Also very good control. 11 walks on the season, 15 strikeouts. Pretty much a sinker, curveball, changeup pitcher, and he is 1-1 in his career against the Red Sox.
The defense behind him is Tim Raines in left field, Bernie Williams in center, and Paul O'Neill in right. Scott Brocious, Derek Jeter, Chuck Knobloch, and Tino Martinez from third to first. And Jorge Posada behind the plate. The Yankees 6th in the American League in team fielding, having made 29 errors in 40 games. Darren Lewis takes strike 1 from Mendoza. Darren's hitting .277, 2 homers and 13 runs batted in. There is no score as the Red Sox bat in the bottom of the first. Pulled foul. 0-2. The Red Sox still without Nomar Garcia Parra at the top of the order. He's still on the disabled list, eligible to come off on Sunday. Look out. Mendoza hit Lewis with an 0-2 pitch. Certainly didn't mean to do that, but that elicits a big reaction from the crowd. Of course, it pales in comparison to the episode they had with the Orioles a couple of nights ago, and thankfully so.
Well, that was one of the ugliest fights I think I've seen in baseball in a long, long time. He's just trying to get the ball inside on the 0-2 count. Instead, he'll hit Lewis and put him at first base. Boy, that brawl at Yankee Stadium just tumbled right into the third base dugout.
Unbelievable. Many of the participants said it was the ugliest brawl that they had ever seen in baseball. Bragg slaps one past Brocious. A base hit for Darren Bragg on the first pitch he saw. Brocious was in on the edge of the grass, and Bragg ripped it right by him, and there are 2 men on for Mo Vaughn.
Big hard ground ball by Darren Bragg. You see that ball tailing down and away from the left hand, and he just slaps it right by Scott Brocious for the base hit. So the Red Sox off quickly here in the first inning.
This crowd is into it tonight. Tremendous roar as Mo Vaughn is introduced. Hitting .324 with a team high 12 homers and 29 runs batted in. Lined, played on a hop by Knobloch, and Jeter turns the double play. Chance for 3, but Lewis is safe at third. It was a one-hopper that Knobloch played, so the runners froze, thinking that Knobloch might catch it in the air, and Lewis really had to scamper to third to avoid a triple play.
Oh, did this have 3 written all over it? That one hop to Knobloch, and he'll go to shortstop for 1. I thought at that point you may see G to go to third base to get the out on him, and then back to try to get Vaughn, but they get the short two, and Lewis just barely makes it into third base.
A well hit ball by Vaughn, but it got gobbled up by Knobloch, and now Jim Leyritz looks at ball one. The former Yankee hitting .310 with 7 homers and 17 runs batted in. Jimmy Williams is giving him a start again tonight against a right-handed pitcher.
It's the second time in a row now against the right-handers they've had Leyritz in there. And I think one of the reasons he likes him in the cleanup spot, he thinks that he's more of a run producer than Reggie Jefferson.
Ball ran in on the hands of Leyritz, and he fouled it off his leg. Mendoza throwing in the low 90s at the moment. 90 miles per hour on that pitch. The previous pitch 91 to Leyritz. No score in the bottom of the first. Leyritz takes a very close pitch for ball 3. Should he reach, Troy O'Leary would hit next. Late swing for strike 2.
Sean, you mentioned a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's a sinking fastball. He throws a heavy ball, as the players call it.
Another heavy one that Leyritz fouled off. Well, one of the question marks about the Yankees when the season began and in spring training was starting pitching, but it has held up very well for Joe Torre. 3-2 pitch. He struck him out. So Mendoza escapes a jam in the first. After one no score, this is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Score after 1 inning. Middle third of the order coming up for the Yankees against Tim Wakefield. Tino Martinez leads off, hitting .326 with 6 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Ball 1 drifts high. Martinez just out of the top 10 in the league in hitting, 1 point behind Bobby Higginson of Detroit, who is in 10th place. Big swing and a miss, and Tino's just back in the lineup. He was the player who was hit by the pitch by Armando Benitez. Touched off the brawl, and he had been in pain and trouble swinging the bat the last couple of days since being hit between the 2 and the 4.
Gonna wonder what Benitez is thinking, because obviously he's got the Yankees mad at him, and his own teammates will not back him on this one. They felt he was wrong by hitting Tino Martinez.
Pulled foul. And a nice catch made by the member of the ground crew down the right field line. Ball 2 high. Yankees come into this series riding a 5-game winning streak. They just completed a sweep of the Orioles. And the lasting memory from that series will be the brawl of a couple of nights ago. Joe Torre said his team was already a close-knit team. If anything, the episode made them even closer, and the Orioles look like a team in total disarray right now. They've lost 8 in a row. Easily the biggest disappointment in baseball to this point of the season. Down to first. It bounced up into the midsection of Mo Vaughn. 1 out. Well, if you missed it, here's a look at some of the video. Obviously, we could not show you the entire escapade. It went on for more than 10 minutes, but that was right after a home run. Benitez waves his arms to the Yankees, inviting them to come. That's Graham Lloyd, who came out of the bullpen and wasn't reminiscent of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And there's a sucker punch thrown by Darryl Strawberry. As Jerry mentioned, it wound up in the dugouts. Eddie Murray, now an Oriole coach, involved in that part of it. It was a wild and very ugly scene.
And Strawberry had his first 2 games. He's sat him out yesterday and the day before, but he's back in the lineup tonight, appealing the suspension so he can play in the 3 games here at Fenway over the weekend.
mean, you shouldn't really be allowed to do that, should you? If you start serving the suspension, that would seem to me to be an admission of guilt and that you're accepting the punishment. How can you start to serve some of the sentence and then decide I'm not going to do this anymore?
I mean, it really is kind of crazy. Either appeal it right away, or you play and get it over with.
Bernie Williams, a bounce at a third. Valentin to Vaughn for the out. 2 down in the second. And here are the boos for Darryl Strawberry. That would seem to me to be a loophole in the rules that they ought to close up. I mean, that's really stupid that he could start to serve a suspension and then midstream change his mind.
And they've got 2 other pitchers also that are appealing, Graham Lloyd and Nelson.
0-2 the count on Strawberry. Off to a solid start at 272 with 7 homers and 19 runs batted in. Crowd would really like to see him whiff. Instead, it's a weak pop-up. Valentin charging hard. He makes the running catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Wakefield. After an inning and a half, no score. Back after these words from your local stations along the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
Satellite.
Here at Fenway, no score after an inning and a half. League leaders brought to you by Mazda. Experienced cars and trucks built with a passion for the road. Of course, we have the last 2 American League Rookies of the Year on these 2 teams, Nomar Garciaparra and Derek Jeter. So we thought we'd check rookie batting in the majors this year. Ben Grieve and Bobby Smith of Tampa Bay sharing the major league lead at 326. Garciaparra hit 306. Was the rookie batting leader last year. Another spinner foul, and Troy O'Leary's in the hole 0-2. Derek Jeter hit 314 his rookie season of 1996. No score after an inning and a half. One thing that jumped out at me, Jerry, around the batting cage tonight is how much taller Derek Jeter is when you are standing next to him than he appears to be when you see him in uniform out on the field. Pulled down to first. Martinez plays it himself. 1 out.
You know, a lot of big shortstops now, and there's some very good shortstops. Rodriguez at Seattle, Jeter, they're much bigger than you think they are. And Jeter's got stronger, too, since he's been in the big leagues. Don Zimmer was saying before the game today that, he's got some pop in his bat now. He's got 7 home runs, tied for the team lead on the Yankees, and said every year he gets stronger and stronger, becomes a better hitter and a better player.
He's 6'3", which I never realized. John Valentin, the batter. He hits it in the air to center. That breeze really pushing it over toward right center. Bernie Williams has it. 1 pitch, and Valentin is retired. He went to the plate batting .237.
That should be a good lesson for the outfielders and infielders tonight. That ball really got a push by the wind. It started out towards center field, and Bernie Williams had to go almost to right field to make the catch.
Mike Benjamin.
2 quick outs. Here's Mike Benjamin. He showed bunt and took a fastball for a strike. Benjamin has played very solidly in the absence of Nomar Garciaparra. Mike's hitting .313 with 6 runs batted in. He's in the hole here, 0-2. Nomar Garciaparra will not be ready to go when his stint on the disabled list is scheduled to end on Sunday. The Red Sox hope they'll be ready for the series next weekend in New York, where the Red Sox travel to Yankee Stadium. He will not appear in the series against Toronto here at Fenway to start next week. In left center, it's Williams making the running catch, and the Red Sox go quickly in order in the second. After 2, the Yankees and Red Sox are scoreless on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
The third, use your phone and check out the most convenient way to purchase Red Sox tickets 24 hours a day through the new Touchtone ticketing system by calling 617-4824-SOX. This new and safe system lets fans purchase tickets at their own convenience any time of day.
2 innings played, no score. The Red Sox have 1 hit. The Yankees have not had a hit. Tim Raines looked at strike 1. Raines, a switch hitter, batting .316, 3 homers and 17 runs batted in. He's batting .327 from the left side this year. On the outside corner, strike 2.
Tim Wakefield this year has thrown a first pitch strike 63% of the time. The league average is 56, so that's pretty impressive for a knuckleball pitcher.
The 0-2 line to left, and O'Leary will have to play it on a hop. Raines is aboard to begin the Yankee third in a scoreless game.
He has always been tough against Wakefield. He is 5 for 8 now in his career against Tim. And of course, Raines 3 stolen bases on the season. He has 798 career stolen bases. Of course, those numbers have slowed down the last few years, but that's a lot of SBs, isn't it, in a career?
Sure is. With 2 more, he'd become just the 4th player this century to reach 800 stolen bases. Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, and Ty Cobb the others. Raines had an 8-game hitting streak snap last night, so he's back in the hit column. And the batter is the catcher, Jorge Posada, batting .279 with 5 homers and 15 runs batted in. A strike, evening the count at 1-1. Inside corner, strike 2. Yankees won the season series last year between these 2 teams 8-4. New York went 4-2 here at Fenway. Bounce to second, a double play ball. Maloney to Benjamin the Vaughn.
Well, double plays have been big early in the game. A big one against the Red Sox in the first inning when Vaughn into a double play. And now the Red Sox quickly eliminate a couple of base runners with the 4-6-3. Tailor-made here. Nice underhand flip by Maloney. Benjamin coming across the back and get rid of it before Raines gets there and picks up the deuce.
Scott Brocious pops it up right by second base. Benjamin battling the breeze makes the catch. Another easy inning for Wakefield. No score after 2.5 innings on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
Scoreless at Fenway as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Yankees and Red Sox. Spring means baseball. There's no better place than historic friendly Fenway to watch America's pastime. There are still plenty of good seats available for upcoming games. For ticket information, call the ticket office at 617-267-1700.
I've heard that particular promo so many times now I can't wait for summer. Time for the scriptwriters to come up with a new wrinkle. Jason Varitek bounces one to second. Chuck Knobloch threw him out. Knobloch to Martinez, and Varitek's gone on 1 pitch because spring does mean baseball.
It does, and but summer means baseball too.
Yes, it does. Fall means baseball occasionally.
Feels like fall tonight.
It does. Perhaps this will be a preview of a cool fall night when these 2 teams get back together to play for the American League pennant. Wouldn't that be something if it could happen? But a long way to go in this season. Both teams off to a terrific start. They're scoreless tonight in the 3rd. Ramiro Mendoza to Lou Merlone bangs 1 foul off third. Nice play. Boy, even the fielding along the lines and foul ground is sharp from the attendants.
Everybody steps it up a level for a Yankee Red Sox game here at Fenway. Even the ball attendants down the lines.
Maloney getting the start at second base again tonight. You chatted with Mark Lemke before the game, and he's still a little woozy.
Yeah, he is. He's feeling much better than he did a couple of days ago. Matter of fact, he was working out here yesterday at Fenway, but I asked him what do you think, a couple more days, and couldn't get an answer from him.
Maloney ducked out of the way of the Mendoza breaking ball. 2-1 on Lou, playing in his 9th game as a major leaguer since being called up from Pawtucket. 6 for 21, including a homer in his first Fenway at bat. He bounced one down to Brocious, across to Martinez, 2 outs.
Well, you've seen a lot of hitters swing at that first pitch, and the reason is because Mendoza throws strikes. He's been doing it all season long. He tries to get that first pitch sinker over the plate, get a ground ball, keep his infielders busy, and it's been working out that way so far tonight.
Top of the order, and Darren Lewis, who was hit by an 0-2 pitch in the first. Foul one off his foot this time. Only serious threat in the game was in the Boston first, and Lewis was hit by a pitch. Bragg followed with a single, but then Mo Vaughn hit a sharp one-hopper to second that wound up as a double play, and Mendoza wound up escaping the inning as Lewis was stranded at third when Leyritz struck out. The game has been dominated by Mendoza and Wakefield to this point. 1-1 the count on Lewis. Chopper down the line. It stays fair. It's a hit, and it is a base hit for Darren Lewis.
Lewis has been in a bit of a struggle recently. Only 6 for his last 33. Of course, he was hit by the pitch to start the ball game off, and this is the kind of hit that a lot of times will get you out of a slump. A swinging bunt right down that third baseline. They're going to let it go because they have no chance of getting Lewis, and they just hope that it rolls foul, but it'll stay right on that grass.
Lewis certainly a threat to run. Darren Bragg, the batter. Mendoza shortened his delivery and shortened the distance that he threw the ball as well. He bounced one in front of the plate. Posada blocked it well. Mendoza from Panama. He's 25 years old. And he throws to first. Lewis a little bit slow turning back to the bag. Darren has 5 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 4 times trying to steal. Bragg singled past the drawn-in third baseman Brocious in the first. One of 2 Red Sox hits, the other the infield single by Lewis. High chopper to Martinez. He shovels to Mendoza for the out that ends the inning. After 3, no score. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Night here at Fenway, just a little bit on the cool side, but certainly not uncomfortably so. Great atmosphere for the Red Sox and the Yankees, and no score as we head to the 4th. Tim Wakefield's faced the minimum 9 batters through 3 innings. He's allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk. That went to the man at the plate, Chuck Knobloch. He was thrown out trying to steal to start the ball game. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill coming up. Apparently that was high. Wakefield with some interesting comments the other day, downplaying the significance of this series. Basically saying they're the Yankees, so what? It's just another series.
I think what happens, Sean, with the players is they get tired of hearing about it because it starts about a week before New York gets to town, and that's all they want to talk about when you still got 2 or 3 games to play before they get here. But I think you can't help but get caught up in it when you take the field because it's a different crowd.
Benjamin charges and throws Knobloch out.
Well, if you're watching us on the flagship station, here's a program reminder. Be sure to tune in every weeknight at 10 for Sports Night with your host Butch Stearns, only on Channel 68.
Number 2, the shortstop, Derek Jeter.
And that makes sense because if it was on another station, it probably wouldn't be 68 Sports Night.
That's correct.
Derek Jeter struck out swinging in the first. A 1 hopper to short. Benjamin's been a busy man. 2 outs.
Getting back to that point about, building up a series, it's funny when you take the field here at Fenway in a Yankee Red Sox game, especially if both teams are doing well. it sounds like no other game throughout the whole season. You could put 35,000 people in here against Chicago, and it sounds different than when the Yankees are
Oh,
here.
no question. Fans much more into it. And it starts as soon as the gates open. During batting practice tonight, an hour and a half before the first pitch, as soon as the gates opened, there was a stream of fans coming through. Many of them Yankee fans right down by the dugout, hollering out at the Yankee players as they were taking batting practice. Paul O'Neill, the foul ball for strike one. O'Neill grounded out his first time up. I saw a Boston police officer as I was walking up to the booth from the field tonight. He said, "Good luck today." I said, "No, good luck to you." This is frequently a busy night for the officers of the law.
Now this is perfect too. A weekend series. a lot of New Yorkers down for the weekend. I saw New York license plates all over Storrow Drive this afternoon, messing up traffic.
That's trying to get into the gap in left center. Lewis over to cut it off, and O'Neill has a 2-out single. That's the second Yankee hit. Each team has 2 hits now.
What's interesting too, Sean, is at Fenway, these Yankee games will always sell out. They buy their tickets in the offseason for the Yankees to come in. It's not the same in New York. I mean, it's not the same rivalry to those folks. Anybody who is close to the Yankees in the standing is a rival. And, you know, if both teams are playing well, then they'll fill up Yankee Stadium too. But Yankees bring a lot of fans here to Fenway. Not the case when you go to Yankee Stadium.
Tino Martinez pulls one down the right field line. That's a fair ball. O'Neill on his way to third as Bragg fires it in. It's a single for Tino Martinez. Back-to-back hits with 2 outs, and the Yankees have their first serious threat.
Now they've got a number of guys in this lineup that have done well against Wakefield, and Tino Martinez, one of those players. 429 coming into the game tonight against Wakefield, and now 1 for 2. So with 2 outs, a couple of hits, the opposite field hit by O'Neill, and Tino Martinez moving him to third base with the single.
Number 51, the center fielder.
And Bernie Williams will try to break the scoreless tie. No score in the 4th. 2 outs, runners at the corners. Williams bounced out to the third baseman, John Valentin, in the 2nd inning. There's another switch hitter who elects to bat from the right side against the knuckleballer Wakefield. We've seen that over and over again this year. That's a bomb to left. Home run over everything in left field. A 3-run shot by Bernie Williams. Across, lands down straight into the parking lot. At least in that at bat, the decision to bat right-handed against Wakefield was a good one, as Williams goes deep for the 5th time this year.
And he has just recently started to go deep. He had a tough time getting his first home run of the season, but they're coming in bunches now. That is his 2nd hitting from the right side of the plate. He's got 5 total, and there was no question about this home run. I'm not sure if it hit the Coke bottles or over the Coke bottles for the home run.
Darryl Strawberry tees off and sends one to left. Bear in mind that ball Williams hit was into a 17-mile-per-hour breeze. That flag blowing virtually straight in from left. A 3-run homer by Williams. Wonder if he was listening to the game on the radio and had an idea the ball might be coming. Looked like he had been waiting for that all night. 3-0 Yankees heading to the bottom of the 4th. We'll be back after these words from your local stations along the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. 3-run homer, and New York leads 3-0. The Red Sox have had a tough time with Ramiro Mendoza. His first pitch, a ball outside to Mo Vaughn. Mo came up with 2 men on and nobody out in the 1st and hit a 1-hopper to 2nd. Chuck Knobloch turned into a 4-6-3 double play. And just missed. 2-0 on Vaughn. Jim Leyritz to follow, and then Troy O'Leary against Mendoza. He was allowed just 2 hits. One of them an infield dribbler. Pulled foul behind first base coach Dave Joust. Mo wanted to make sure he had not broken his bat. Ball 3. Mendoza has not issued a walk. He has hit a batter. That was the first batter of the night for the Red Sox, Darren Lewis. In the air in center field. Williams drifting back. And he makes the catch. Let's pause for station identification. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
You're watching Red Sox baseball on WABU TV Channel 68 Boston, WNBU TV Channel 21 Concord, New Hampshire, and WZBU TV Channel 58 Vineyard Haven, Cape Cod.
3-0 Yankees in the fourth. One out of the bases empty for Jim Leyritz. Sean McDonough with Jerry Remy. Delighted to have you with us. Leyritz delighted to be out of the way of that one. He wasn't sure if it was a breaking ball or not as it went toward him. Jim struck out, swinging to end the first. The Red Sox left a man at third base. Ball 2 inside. Bounced foul past third base coach Wendell Kim.
I was surprised not to see Jefferson in the lineup tonight because I felt like that might be a good matchup against Mendoza. Reggie, a good low ball pitcher and a low ball hitter, and Mendoza the sinker ball pitcher.
Leyritz didn't have a very good looking first at bat. There's a very good hitter, Reggie Jefferson. Leyritz much better at bat this time. Line one in the center.
Well, the Yankees and Sox get together tomorrow afternoon, and the action is on NESN. Game time 1 o'clock. Our next telecast will be Game 3 of this series on Sunday. Tune in at 12:30 on Sunday afternoon for Red Sox On Deck with your host Doug Brown, and Red Sox baseball will immediately follow over most of our 68 Sports television network.
Of course, in that game tomorrow on NESN, David Wells will make his first start for the Yankees since he pitched the perfect game against the Minnesota Twins in his last outing. He'll be opposed by Derek Lowe. In our telecast on Sunday afternoon, it'll be Brett Saberhagen and David Cone, who were once teammates with the New York Mets. The 0-1 to Troy O'Leary is Lowe. David Wells has been busy since that perfect game. He's been popping up on David Letterman's show and Regis and Kathy Lee and Howard Stern's radio show. He's been in demand. Bounce to first. Martinez steps on the bag. They have to put the tag on Leyritz, and Jeter does with ease. Another double play. This one ends the inning. Second double play the Red Sox have bounced into in 4 innings against Mendoza. After 4, 3-0 New York. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
The Red Sox are off to their best start. The Yankees continue to top them. What's the secret? Tune in to Red Sox On Deck Sunday for the answers. Red Sox On Deck 30 minutes before every Red Sox game on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
Ramiro Mendoza has breezed through the first 4 innings against the Red Sox tonight. From Wakefield, touched up for a long home run last inning by Bernie Williams. A 3-run shot, and the Yankees lead 3-0 as they look for their 6th straight win. Wakefield's first pitch of the 5th was a strike to Tim Raines. And that one just missed. 1-1. Raines singled to left in the 3rd. Bottom 3rd of the order. Raines, Jorge Posada, and Scott Brocious coming up. Strike at the knees. 1-2.
That home run given up by Wakefield is the first one he's allowed in his last 3 starts. No home runs against Minnesota and twice facing Kansas City.
Wakefield has won his last 5 starts. It started April 24th at Cleveland. Since then, he has defeated Anaheim, Minnesota, and Kansas City twice. Rounded to second. Merlone double pump. He still had time to get Raines. Friends, don't miss your chance to select the best players for the 1998 All-Star team. Come to Fenway Park and watch Gamecaster vote. All-Star balloting ends June 14th. Red Sox baseball.
What a game. Says we do the same thing all the time.
That's right. Little new wrinkle here tonight in honor of the big Red Sox-Yankee series. Jorge Posada bounced into a double play his first time up. He skies that to right. Darren Bragg, 2 outs.
That time of night where outfielders and infielders can lose that fly ball. Not completely dark. We saw Sierra lose one here earlier on this homestand a couple of days ago and under these same conditions.
Number 18, the third baseman, Scott Brocious.
Scott Brocious excelling in his first year with the Yankees. And he looks at strike one. Brocious popped out his first time up. He's now hitting .314 with 2 homers and 21 runs batted in. As the regular third baseman for New York, he rips that toward the wall and left. O'Leary will play it off the top of the scoreboard. Brocious will stop at first. A wide turn. O'Leary has really made a very nice adjustment to left field this season, playing the caroms off the wall with ease.
And Brocious has made a nice adjustment to the Yankee lineup. He's had a couple of off seasons for the Oakland Athletics, but he has bounced back this year in New York. There's a throw in by O'Leary right on the money, and that'll hold Brocious at first with the 2 outs.
If he can steal the base, he's stolen 2 this year. 3-0 New York in the 5th. All the scoring on a 3-run homer last inning by Bernie Williams. Chuck Knobloch walked and was thrown out trying to steal second in the first inning. He grounded to short in the 4th. Bounce down to third, an easy play for Valentin. He goes to Merlone for the out that ends the inning. After 4½, the Yankees 3, the Red Sox nothing on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
For the Yankees have the 3-0 lead. The Toronto Blue Jays fly into town May 25th and 26th, led by Jose Canseco, Carlos Delgado, and Roger Clemens. For tickets, call 617-267-1700 or securely order tickets 24 hours a day online at redsox.com.
Heading to the bottom of the 5th, the Red Sox trail 3-0. And John Valentin leads off against Ramiro Mendoza. It'll be Valentin, Mike Benjamin, and Jason Varitek coming up. First pitch to Valentin in the dirt. Well, if you joined us late, there was a very moving ceremony prior to the game honoring Einar Gustafsson, who was better known for the last 50 years as Jimmy, a 12-year-old cancer patient 50 years ago whose story helped launch the Jimmy Fund. Mr. Gustafsson is here in the booth with us, and we thank you, sir, for a very memorable ceremony before the game. Valentin sends it to left, and Raines makes the catch. And I think, to me, one of the most interesting parts of the story is your story 50 years ago was the genesis of the Jimmy Fund, but over the years people wondered what happened to Jimmy, and you remained anonymous, as it were. Was that by your choice?
Yeah, it certainly was. I was just a quiet guy, and I couldn't see any reason why to pull it out. Everything was fine. Jimmy Fund was doing extraordinary.
Mike Benjamin is the batter. He lined to center his first time up. He pulls one foul. Now, for those who joined us late, you're a truck driver, and from northern Maine, you spend some time on Cape Cod these days.
Yes, sir. I spend about half the time between northern Maine and the Cape, and I, of course, trucking, that's my own business. Yeah.
Now, the Jimmy Fund discovered that you were still among the living on a letter from your sister to Mike Andrews, the former Red Sox second baseman, who's now the director of the Jimmy Fund. A 2-1 pitch bounced foul. She mentioned in her letter back 50 years ago, the doctors told your family you had about 6 weeks to live.
That's right.
And here you are 50 years later and in good health.
Yes, sir. I was one lucky young feller.
Down to first, Martinez makes the play. I'd imagine you're enormously proud when you see what the Jimmy Fund has become.
Undescribable. And yesterday was really something, watching the whole thing.
And you still follow the fortunes of the Red Sox? I know back then it was the Boston Braves who were your team, and you were visited by members of the Braves, but do you still follow the Red Sox?
Oh, sure, certainly. When the Braves went, well, then, you know, I had to get a home team, and that was the Red Sox.
Jason Varitek is the batter. Swing and a miss for strike one. 2 outs and the base is empty. 5th inning, 3-0. The Yankees lead on a home run by Bernie Williams in the top of the 4th. Bounce down to first, and Martinez makes the play. Again, Mr. Gustafson, thank you so much. We were all touched by your story. Delighted to see you here 50 years later in such good health, and continue cheering for the Red Sox.
Thank you very much. It's been a special day for me.
I bet it has.
I'll remember it forever.
Jimmy. And there was Mr. Gustafson, who did a great job at the microphone in front of this big crowd. It's not easy with that feedback coming through the PA system, and he handled it like a pro. Back in a moment on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. Fenway, they've played 5 innings in 1 hour and 2 minutes. And Derek Jeter is the batter. Jeter struck out and grounded to short. Yankees batting in the 6th, leading 3-0. Well hit ball to center. Long run for Lewis, and he's there to make the catch. Game summary is brought to you by your New England Subaru dealers. Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive. The only scoring in this game on a long 3-run homer by Bernie Williams in the 4th inning. Back-to-back singles with 2 outs set the stage for Williams, and he hit one over everything and left. Mendoza has blanked the Red Sox on 3 hits through 5. Darren Lewis has been on base twice. They estimated the Williams homer at 414 feet. Went over everything. The screen, the Coke bottles, landed in the parking lot across the street. Paul O'Neill had the single to get that 2-out rally started in the 4th. He singled, and Tino Martinez singled, and Williams hit the 3-run homer.
O'Neill just signed a contract extension with the Yankees that'll cover him through the year 2000.
Another well-hit ball to left. O'Leary will play it off the scoreboard. O'Neill will get to second safely, as that time O'Leary had a tough time with the carom. Looked like a ball off the bat he was going to catch. It didn't hit very high up on the scoreboard, but apparently it was hit so hard he didn't have a chance to get back to catch it.
Yeah, I think how hard this ball was hit was surprised O'Leary, because it did appear like one that he was going to make a play on. There's the bobble. O'Neill was going to stop at first base. Then when he saw O'Leary bobble the ball, he'll get himself into scoring position.
So far, no error posted, so apparently it's a double for O'Neill. And he's in scoring position. Tino Martinez, who fouls one off to our left. Martinez grounded to first in the 2nd, singled to right and scored on the Williams homer in the 4th. Loud chant of "Let's go Yankees" coming from the bleachers, and now the Red Sox fans trying to boo to drown out that chant. Neal safe at 2nd as Benjamin went sneaking in behind him. Martinez outstanding this year with men in scoring position at .385. And he rips one to the right field corner. That'll bring in O'Neill. And it'll be at least 2 for Martinez. He's trying for 3. And he's there safely, as Benjamin couldn't handle the throw from Bragg, and the Yankees lead 4-0. Once again, O'Neill and Martinez involved in the Yankee scoring.
Now, coming into the game tonight, lefties had hit Wakefield at a .333 clip, and it's the lefties doing damage here in this inning. O'Neill with the opposite field double, almost the same thing as last time up. O'Neill going the other way, and Tino Martinez pulling the ball. See this ball hooking away from Darren Bragg, and then it's going to rattle around down that right field line for a while, and that's going to enable Tino to get the third base with the triple. Martinez last year, career high 44 home runs last season for the Yankees, and 141 RBI.
Not a bad season. He's at third with his first triple of the year. And John Wasden is warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Tino doesn't get many triples. Not a real speedy runner. That's his 9th major league triple, dating back to 1990 when he broke into the major leagues. So 1 run is in here in the 6th, and Jimmy Williams brings his infield in, try to cut down another. Martinez at third with 1 out. Bernie Williams the batter. Strike 1. Williams 1 for 2. He bounced to third in the 2nd inning, then hit that long 3-run homer over everything and left. In the 4th, the Yankees have added a run, and they're looking for more in the 6th. Outfield plays Williams to pull. He has a lot of room in right center. He tried to pull that one and missed it 0-2.
Kind of mentioned in the open, Sean, how this Yankee offense is probably going to get better as the year goes on because a couple of guys have had slow starts. Bernie Williams certainly the case as far as the power numbers go.
O'Neill and Martinez, their home run numbers down from what you'd expect. Knobloch has hit for a much lower average than you'd expect. You ordinarily look for him around 300. He came into tonight at 256. One and 2 now on Bernie Williams. Chopped to short. The runner cannot move along as Benjamin throws out Williams. So Martinez is still at third with 2 outs, and now the infield can back up.
Now, if they had a player at third base with a little more speed, they'd have played contact on that, and on that kind of ground ball, you had a pretty good chance of scoring. But Martinez does not run well, and they hold him on the bag.
Joe Torre led the Yankees to the World Championship a couple of years ago. Darryl Strawberry rolled one foul off his foot. Strawberry at 265 now with an 0 for 2 tonight. He was popped to third and flied to left. At the belt, strike 2, 0-2. Down the line, foul. The Red Sox obviously don't want to fall even further behind in this ball game. The Yankees have an excellent bullpen should Mendoza start to struggle. They get into the 8th or 9th with the lead. With Rivera out there, they're almost unbeatable. Wakefield gets the big strikeout, and the crowd particularly enjoys that one because it came at the expense of Strawberry. The Yankees get a run and leave a man at third. We'll be back after these words from your local station. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. They've won 7 of their last 10. Jose Canseco now hit 16 home runs. Lou Merloni leads off for the 6th. The Red Sox have done very little with Ramiro Mendoza. He throws a strike, 1-1. Merloni grounded to third his first time up. He'll be followed by the top of the order, Darren Lewis and Darren Bragg. The Red Sox have 3 hits, all of them singles. Get into a couple of double plays. Well hit to left. Rains, leaps, and can't get it. It's off the bottom of the scoreboard. Merloni digging for 2. The throw from Williams not in time.
We've seen quite a few balls hit hard out toward left field tonight. Certainly O'Neill did that, kind of fooled O'Leary, and now Merloni with a hard line drive that's going to be up over the head of Tim Raines. Raines will make the leap, but just over the glove, and Maloney goes head first into second base with the leadoff double.
His second major league double, the Red Sox first extra base hit of the night. Lead man in scoring position as the Red Sox try to get a comeback started. Top of the order, and Darren Lewis. He lines one to right, a base hit. Out of the reach of Knobloch. Maloney had to hesitate to see if Knobloch would catch it, so he's at third. And the Red Sox have the first 2 men on here in the 6th inning.
Well, almost every pitch by Mendoza has been down around the knees or lower, but watch the location of this pitch to Lewis. It's going to be a fastball, but it's going to stay up in the zone, and Darren Lewis hits the hard line drive to the opposite field. That's one of the few pitches tonight that he has left up in that area. Of course, Maloney had to hold at second base to make sure the line drive was not caught by Knobloch. He can't get doubled up in this situation.
Lewis was 6 for his last 33 coming into this one, a 182 clip. But he's 2 for 2 tonight. Has been on base 3 times. Darren Bragg takes ball 1 outside. 4-0 New York. The Red Sox have the fans making noise with the first 2 men on here in the 6th inning. Bragg single to left in the first, grounded to the first baseman Martinez with Mendoza covering to end the 3rd.
Now Mendoza's been going deep in the games for the Yankees his last 3 starts. He has gone to 7 innings, 9 innings, and last time out 8 innings. And he hasn't thrown a lot of pitches in this one.
Knobloch in the hole, has to go to first, and a run scores. Looked like it might be a double play ball, but Knobloch had too far to go to field the grounder. Bragg has an RBI, 1 run in, another man in scoring position. Run batted in, number 14 for Bragg, and the fans roars. Mo Vaughn stands in again. Maloney has scored to cut the deficit back to 3. Lewis at second, 1 out. Mo takes a ball low. Mo hit into a 4-6-3 double play in the first with 2 men on and nobody out, and it looked like the Red Sox might grab the early lead. And he flied to center, almost to the warning track his last time up. A little over anxious there on the ball about ankle high.
But that's where Mendoza operates. He's only allowed 1 home run this season, and that's because for the most part he's been keeping that ball down. You see it down low, 82 miles an hour. That might have been the changeup that time.
Vaughn to be followed by Jim Leyritz. Fastball, and Mo late on it, fouled it off to the left. That was the 90-mile-per-hour fastball. Four runs, 7 hits for New York. 1 run, 5 hits for the Red Sox. The 1-2 to Vaughn. Fouled again, away to the left. There's Leyritz waiting to follow. Now the 1-2 again, and he fouled off a tough pitch down and in.
It's interesting, the changeups that he's featured to Vaughn have been inside, and all the fastballs that have been 90 plus have been away from Vaughn.
Rose had a relatively quiet homestand. Now 4 for 20 on the homestand. Up in a big spot here. A ball low. Rose been trying to be more selective, trying to cut down on the strikeouts. Some of that relates to, as you say, not always having run producers batting right behind him. He feels the burden of trying to knock in the run in this situation. Mendoza, for the first time tonight, working relatively slowly. It's 2-2. He struck him out. Another pitch down and out of the strike zone.
A lot of changeups in that at bat to Mo Vaughn. Take a look at the sequence of pitches to Vaughn in this last at bat. Here's a changeup that's down and in. Down and in again. Now the fastball away that Mo's a little late on. Fastball again away. Perfect location. Changeup down and in. Follows up with a fastball inside, and there's the changeup to put him away. So good mixing up of pitches that time. In and away from Vaughn.
Leyritz looked at a strike on the outside corner. So Mo is now fanned 47 times and has the league lead by 1 over Jim Thome. Of course, a big part of Thome's strikeout numbers is he goes so deep into the count every time. He is a very selective hitter. He's also among the league leaders in walks. That's not the case for Mo. Leyritz in the hole, 0-2.
Yeah, Mo with only 12 walks on the season. Look at Jim Thome. He leads the league in walks with 33.
4-1 Yankees. Disappointing the way this inning started out for the Red Sox to settle for 1 run. They could use a big hit from Leyritz, but he's in the hole. Mendoza got away with a hanging breaking ball there.
That might be one that Mendoza's glad Leyritz didn't swing at. Curveball, and you see it's up in the zone, and usually that curveball goes a long way.
That was above the Mendoza line as far as Ramiro is concerned. Leyritz took it. And then he couldn't get to the high fastball. And the Red Sox do settle for 1 run. After 6, 4-1 New York on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Tim Wakefield has been outdueled by Ramiro Mendoza. One big pitch in the ballgame thrown by Wakefield was the home run ball hit by Williams. That's the difference in the game. The 3-run homer by the Yankee center fielder in the 4th. Tim Raines fouled the first pitch of the 7th off his foot. He singled to left in the 3rd, bounced out to the second baseman in the 5th. Jorge Posada on deck, and then Scott Brocious. Sean McDonough with Jerry Remy at Fenway Park, filled to capacity, as is our booth tonight. The usual assistants provided by Christine Charbonneau, John Campbell, and Chris Allen. Visitors in the booth tonight, Ryan McDonough and Ryan Wilson. Well, it's a full house here in the 68 Sports broadcast booth. Three and 1 the count. So Wakefield goes to a rare fastball, 76 miles per hour, and Raines fouled it off. And Wakefield battles back to strike out Raines. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Wakefield as he got Darryl Strawberry to end the 6th.
Well, it's hard to tell whether the wind tonight is helping the knuckleball, because he's been so sharp the last few times out, regardless of how windy it is. There's the 68-mile-an-hour knuckleball on the 3-2 pitch, a 10-inch drop to pick up the strikeout.
1 out in the 7th inning. The Yankees have a 4-1 lead in the first game of this 3-game series. Little pop-up from Jorge Posada. And John Valentin makes the catch. Friends, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Boston Red Sox and WABU TV channel 68. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Boston Red Sox and WABU TV. Scott Brocious, the batter. Brocious, part of this incredible start for the Yankees, 31-9, the third best start in Yankee franchise history after 40 games. Only the 28 New York Yankees and the 1939 Yankees had better starts. Both of those teams began the year at 33-7. As we mentioned, since 1948, in the last 50 years, only one major league team has started faster than this Yankee team. That was the '84 Tigers, who opened the year at 35-5.
The Tigers that year put everybody to sleep early.
Yes.
And the Yankees have tried to do that this year. The Red Sox have played well, so they've stayed 5 behind, but they put the rest of the division out before we hit the end of May.
The Yankees come into this one having won 5 straight games. They compiled winning streaks of at least 6 games 3 separate times already this year in their first 27 games of the season. Ball 4 to Brocious. Yankees lead the majors in on-base percentage. Road batting average at .286. They're not too shabby at home either. They're 16-3 at home this year, both Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium. Of course, they had to play at Shea after the problems at Yankee Stadium. They are 15-6 on the road. That's the best road record in the majors.
They started the season, what, 1-4, and there was already talk in New York about maybe replacing the manager. Just hold on a while.
They pitch out, and Brocious is going. Varitek's throw got Brocious by a mile. Oh, Jason Varitek has thrown out 2 would-be base stealers tonight. 7th inning stretch. The Yankees still lead by 3 on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network. Settling back into the seats as the Red Sox come up with batters 5, 6, and 7 against Ramiro Mendoza. Troy O'Leary leads off. He rips one down the right field line, hooking toward the pole. It is a home run. Number 12 for O'Leary, his 26th run batted in, and the Red Sox are within 2 now. It's 4-2, and that's going to get the Yankee bullpen busy.
This one will tie O'Leary with Mo Vaughn for 12 now, which is 4th best in the American League. Once again, a pitch that was up. Seems like every time he gets the ball up, the Red Sox take advantage of it, but he hasn't made that mistake very often tonight.
Of course, every time a Red Sox player hits a home run on a 68 Sports telecast, Dunkin' Donuts makes a contribution to the Jimmy Fund. So it continues to be a great night for the Jimmy Fund here at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox would like to add some more to the Jimmy Fund coffers. John Valentin up there with a count of 1-1. Former Red Sox left-handed reliever Mike Stanton up in the bullpen after the O'Leary homer. It has been a while since Troy O'Leary had gone deep. Valentin broke his bat. Raines charging and can't get there. A bloop hit for Valentin, and the Red Sox will get the tying run to the plate with nobody out here in the 7th inning.
Ball runs right back in on the hands of Valentin. May have broken the bat, but still able to muscle the ball out in front of Tim Raines. And the Red Sox trying to get some extra points in this inning. They're down by 2. Still nobody out. And Stottlemyre out to talk to his pitcher.
Leary's homer is first since that series in Kansas City. May 9th, his last home run. Line drive that looked like it might hook foul, especially with that breeze pushing it toward foul ground along the first base line, but it stayed fair.
Take a look at the location on supervision. It's going to be up in the zone, and every time he throws one up in the zone, Red Sox do some damage with it. But the problem is tonight, they haven't been that many in that area. Took an outside pitch and hooked it, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Mike Benjamin chops one down the line. Brocious elected to play it. Throw to first, and Martinez just was on the bag, so Benjamin's out. Well, the runner does move up into scoring position. Valentin at second with one out. Benjamin's now 0 for 3.
Number 47, the catcher, Jason Varitek.
Jason Varitek hasn't had many at-bats this season left-handed. With the 0 for 2 tonight, he's had 22 at-bats from the left. He's 4 for 22 left-handed. Under 200. He's grounded out twice tonight. He could tie it with one swing. Mendoza stepped off as Jeter was dancing around behind Valentin. Varitek at the plate. Lou Merloni on deck. Both bullpens busy at the moment. Slashing, swing and a miss for strike one. Rich Garces alongside Jim Corsi in the Boston bullpen. And Stanton has company from Jeff Nelson in the Yankee bullpen. 4-2 New York in the 7th. Varitek takes the ball down and away. This is pitch number 80 from Mendoza, and a good one. 1-2 the count.
A good changeup that time for Mendoza, sinking it down and away from the left-hander. One look on supervision to see the location, and 84 miles an hour. His fastball 90-91. The changeup's been around 83-84 consistently.
He has been impressive. Pitch in the dirt. And a break for the Red Sox as Posada couldn't come up with it, and Valentin's now at third with one out.
Starting to show more cracks, though, obviously, as we get deeper into the ball game. That ball bouncing in the dirt. Posada does his best to try to block the ball, but it's going to bounce off the glove, up the arm, and that'll allow Valentin to advance one base to third. Little contact here, probably gets the Red Sox another run. They're back in the infield.
All Varitek needs to do is put it in play on the ground. Valentin should score. A wild pitch charge to Mendoza. Varitek, base hit past the diving Martinez. Valentin scores. Varitek on his way to second with a double. It's 4-3, and the tying run is at second, and Jason Varitek's having a big night. He's thrown out 2 base stealers, and now he's driven in a huge run after falling behind in the count.
It's interesting watching the Yankees line up against Varitek. They're basically playing him straight away because they haven't seen him hit left-handed very much. Right by the dive of Martinez, and played very safely by O'Neill out in right field. That's going to put Varitek at second, and here comes the third run, and John Valentin, and also out of the dugout comes Joe Torre to make the pitching change.
Joe Torre puts out the call to the bullpen. They'll go for the right-hander Jeff Nelson. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Bell Atlantic. The Red Sox have the tying run at second with one out in the 7th. The Yankees lead 4-3. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
The new Dodge. By the Bell Atlantic Yellow Pages. And by your New England Toyota dealer.
Well, Mendoza leaves the ball game with the 4-3 lead. The Red Sox getting a couple of those runs this inning. The home run by O'Leary, and Varitek with the double, a drive, and a run. Log on to RedSox.com and check out the newly expanded Red Sox Cyber Store. Now you can purchase the same stuff available at Fenway Park online 24 hours a day from your own home. RedSox.com is also a great way to securely purchase Red Sox tickets and get the latest information and team news. Red Sox baseball.
What a game. What a game this is turning out to be. A big night for Jason Varitek. He just doubled and knocked in a run and get the Red Sox within one.
Varitek picks up his 9th RBI on this double past Tino Martinez. Tino was way off the line against Varitek. He's had a great night defensively and now with a big hit.
And the new pitcher is Jeff Nelson, the big right-hander.
22nd appearance. Here's a guy that was very busy a year ago. 77 appearances last year. And that broke a club record that was set by Dave Righetti back in the mid-80s.
And into the very bright spotlight steps Lou Merloni. Already a fan favorite here at Fenway. He'll be the mayor of Boston. He can come up with a hit here. No offense to his honor, Tom Menino. Lou doubled and scored last inning. Scored the first Red Sox run. The pride of Framingham. Rips one to left, and it is a base hit. Late on a hop by Raines, and well done by Raines. If that skips by him, it's a tie ball game. Merloni is 2 for 3 tonight.
But I thought for a second Raines was going to make a play on that. He was playing shallow against Merloni, but it was one of those top spin line drives that's going to sink quickly and just drop in front of Raines. But you're right, that ball gets by him. It's a tie ball game, and Maloney is at least going to be at second base. That's a heck of a play there by Tim Raines.
You raised a good point during the break. Jimmy Williams really couldn't hit for Maloney if he was inclined to, because the Red Sox don't have any extra infielders available tonight, with Lemke still groggy. The tying run is at third. The go-ahead run at first. The Red Sox once trailed 4-0. Darren Lewis is the batter. Red Sox have 4 hits in this inning. Frisbee from Nelson outside for ball 1. Lewis has had a perfect night. He was hit by a pitch in the first. Had an infield hit in the third. Single to right in the 6th. His average back up to 288. He's added 11 points to that batting average tonight. The 1-0 from Jeff Nelson is the strike.
A lot of breaking balls from Nelson. Kind of that 3/4 delivery, throws across the body, and is tough on right-handers.
Waving, swing and a miss. And that awkward delivery comes from a 6'8", 235-pound pitcher.
76 miles an hour on the breaking ball, 7 inches down. Kind of a slurve that he features. I shouldn't say he throws across his body, but it looks that way because of the way he delivers the ball to home plate. He does step, though, directly at home plate.
The 1-2 to Lewis. He wouldn't chase the ball low and away. Darren Bragg is in the on-deck circle. Lewis hitting .276 for the year. After a slow start, he's at .455 with men in scoring position since April 21st. Over the last month, he's been excellent in this situation. Way outside and nearly to the backstop. Posada with a great backhanded stab of that one, or it's a tie game.
There's a choice now for Jimmy Williams. Send that runner on the 3-2 count. Posada with a nice backhanded play to keep that from going to the backstop.
Jimmy Williams with that decision to make. Will he send Merloni? Merloni runs, and Lewis fought it off. Many of the fans on their feet. Playoff atmosphere tonight at Fenway. Nelson with that step toward third and look to first move that very, very rarely works.
You're going to use it, though. That's a good time to do it. The 3-2 count where that runner's going to be going. You might get an over-aggressive rookie at first base. Give it a shot.
Varitek, the runner at third, Merlone at first. Now they'll check on Merlone. Yankees have 4 runs on 7 hits. The Red Sox 3 runs on 9 hits. Neither team has made an error. Nelson in relief of Ramiro Mendoza. Merlone goes. Lewis pops it up, and that ball will find the seats. Although Merlone was napping at second base.
Wow.
That ball's caught. It's a double play.
Boy, you got to pick up your coach right away, find out where that ball is, and get back to first. If that stays in play, that's a double play that ends the inning. Like Jeter was telling him to hold up. It was a foul ball, but you can't believe their player.
No.
You got to check it for yourself.
You can say he's not even looking at either the coach or the ball, so he doesn't know that that pop-up's going into the stands for sure. Well, Lewis is waging a battle now with Nelson. Darren got behind in the count, worked it to 3-2. He's fought off a couple. Merlone goes again. Ball 4. Terrific at bat by Lewis. That will do it for Nelson. He faced 2 batters, didn't retire either one, with Bragg, the left-handed swinger, coming up. Joe Torre will bring in Mike Stanton. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Bell Atlantic. We'll be back after these words from your local stations. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. The Yankees lead 4-3, but the Red Sox have the bases loaded and 1 out in the 7th. We'll pause now for station identification. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
You're watching.
The right fielder, Bragg.
Sean McDonough with Jerry Remy. The ballpark is rocking tonight. It has been from even before the first pitch was thrown. The new pitcher for New York is lefty Mike Stanton.
Stanton off to a great start out of the bullpen. This will be appearance number 23-0. That third win came on Tuesday against the Baltimore Orioles. Worked 2 innings in that game, retiring all 6 batters he faced. Opponents only hitting .215 off Stanton this season.
Former Red Sox lefty in to face Darren Bragg. Tying run at third. Go-ahead run at second. Another man aboard first. 2 runs into this inning. It's 4-3 New York. Line drive and a base hit. Varitek has scored. Merlone scores, and the Red Sox take the lead. Darren Bragg, a 2-run single.
Jimmy Williams, had there been one, he might have hit for Bragg in that situation. Instead, he takes the first fastball he sees from Stanton and hits the base hit to center field to give the Red Sox the lead.
They've come from 4-0 down to take a 5-4 lead. Now Mo Vaughn, big swing and a miss. Mo's had a tough night and has started to struggle with regularity with men in scoring position of late. 0 for 3 tonight. Came up with 2 men on to the first and nobody out, and into a double play. Wide to center leading off the 4th and struck out in the 6th inning with a man on. And he's in the hole here 0-2. He's hit a respectable .303. more than respectable against left-handed pitchers. Big hit by Bragg. Both of those runs charged to Nelson. Excuse me, one of them charged to Mendoza, the other one charged to Nelson. And Vaughn's gone on 3 pitches. He's had a night he would like to forget to this point.
You face a guy like Mike Stanton, you want to make sure you make contact on those first couple of pitches, because once he gets ahead of the lefty, very tough. That ball down and away from Mo. Just off the outside edge, and Mo goes down for the 2nd time tonight on the strikeout.
No action in the Yankee pen. Stanton will work to the 9th batter of the inning, Jim Leyritz. The Red Sox have batted around. They've scored 4 times to take the lead. Stanton, through strike 1. Leyritz thought it was low, as did the crowd. Leyritz 1 for 3, a single sandwiched between 2 strikeouts, all of his at-bats against the starter Ramiro Mendoza. One strike pitch to Leyritz, way inside.
And by the way, Leyritz like to hit a bomb right here against his former team. Give the Red Sox a comfortable lead.
It's, of course, a World Series hero for the Yankees 2 years ago when they beat the Braves. In his career with the Yankees at 57 home runs. Late swing and a foul tip. He hit the dramatic 8th inning game-tying 3-run homer off Atlanta's Mark Wohlers in Game 4. That tied that game at 6-6. The Yankees went on to win Game 4, 8-6 in 10 innings, and went on to win the World Series in 6 games. Bounced to short, snared by Jeter. He flipped the knob-block for the out that ends the inning. But the Red Sox get 4 to take the lead. Darren Bragg's 2-run single put them on top. But it was the home run by Troy O'Leary leading off the inning that got the rally started. After 7, a terrific ball game. The Red Sox 5, the Yankees 4 on the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
And by Hyundai.
Back at Fenway, the Red Sox have taken the lead for the first time in this ball game, 5-4. Darren Bragg with a big base hit. Jason Varitek also with a big hit in that inning, along with O'Leary for the home run. A big part of history as the Red Sox host a new team from Tampa Bay, the Devil Rays, for the first time in a weekend series, June 12th, 13th, and 14th. For tickets 24 hours a day, call 617-482-4SOX. Red Sox baseball.
What a game. What do you think the Devil Rays slogan is? Devil Rays baseball.
What a game.
We're really new.
We hope to have a game.
Jim Corsi, the new pitcher. So Tim Wakefield, with this comeback, has a chance to win his 6th straight if the bullpen can't protect the lead. The bullpen's been great lately, and that includes Corsi.
And last outing for Corsi was a couple of days ago against the White Sox. Began the 8th inning. It's a 1 inning, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout. He's allowed just 2 hits and no runs in his last 9 appearances.
Red Sox lead for the first time tonight. Of course, he's in to face the top of this outstanding Yankee batting order. Chuck Knobloch takes ball 1 inside. Red Sox bullpen over the last 12 games has an ERA collectively of 1.73. The opponents have at 1.93. Joe Kerrigan's men have stranded 8 of the 9 runners they have inherited. Of course, he starts the inning. No inherited runners here. And he misses high. 2-0. Knobloch 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts and a walk against Wakefield. Wakefield went 7 innings, allowed 7 hits, 4 runs all earned. He walked 2 and struck out 3. Gave up a home run through 85 pitches, 56 of them strikes. And that looked pretty good. Called the ball. And high.
Knobloch's got a good way of working umpires. You saw him duck that pitch on the 2-0 count.
There is action in the bullpen behind Corsi. Tom Gordon and Ron Mayhay are throwing. That's clearly high. So Corsi walks Knobloch on 4 pitches. And Joe Kerrigan and Jimmy Williams hope that doesn't turn out to be disastrous. Be a long way to go for Gordon if they brought him in here.
Number 2, the shortstop, Derek Jeter.
Knobloch, an excellent base runner at first. And the hitter is Derek Jeter. It's dangerous for Corsi, Jerry, when he misses high as he was to Knobloch. That's not his game. He needs to keep the ball down. He did there and missed a low to Jeter. So Corsi's thrown 5 straight balls. That gets Varitek and Joe Kerrigan heading to the mound.
Yeah, it's like Mendoza when pitching for the Yankees. Once he comes up in the strike zone, he becomes very hittable. But if he keeps that ball down, he's going to wear out his infielders. So Corsi having a tough time with his control here in the first couple of batters. A lot of options for Joe Torre here. You go with the straight out steal if you want with Knobloch. You could play hit and run with Jeter. You could just stay home, and with Jeter's new power this season, you could hope for a home run.
It's interesting too that it seems Jimmy Williams and Joe Kerrigan have a quick hook with Tim Wakefield. Not that he was as effective tonight as he had been lately, but really it was the one major problem on the Williams home run that resulted in 3 runs. Otherwise, another very good outing by Wakefield, but they seem to go 6 or 7 innings with him, and then it's Yank.
It's almost like he scares them for some reason. You know, like he's going to lose it overnight, or just like a 1 pitch and the game's going to be out of reach. But they've been consistent when they get to this part of the ball game. This is the combination they've been going with.
Well, Jim Corsi grew up in suburban Boston. He knows what this Red Sox-Yankee rivalry is all about. Jimmy Williams would like to see him throw a strike. He's thrown 7 straight balls. And this is likely his last batter no matter what, because you have O'Neill and Tito Martinez coming up next, and Mayhay ready in the bullpen.
Pretty good tunnel lashing there by John Valentin. Maybe something like aim for the middle of the plate and let the natural movement of the baseball take over. In those words, not quite those words, but
there's a strike. Three and 1 on Jeter. He'll struck out, grounded to short, and line to center. The Red Sox lead 5-4. They're trying not to turn the momentum right back over to the Yankees. Knobloch runs. Jeter fouls it away, and now it's a full count.
A run and hit situation that time. He's stealing second. If it's a strike, they want Jeter to swing. If not, take ball 4. A pitch right down the middle. You see Jeter with the inside out stroke trying to go to the opposite field with that.
So is it likely if he was running on the previous pitch he'll be going here?
Going to be going here. Try to stay away from a double play on a ground ball.
Knobloch runs, and the pitch is ball 4. So Corsi has walked the first 2 batters of the 8th. And here comes Jimmy Williams. Ron Mayhay will come in with the lefty O'Neill due up. With the score, the Red Sox 5 and the Yankees 4. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
Coming up in O'Neill and Martinez.
Number 21, the right fielder, Paul O'Neill.
Top of the 8th inning, 5-4 Red Sox. The first 2 men on, courtesy of the walks thrown by Corsi. And here's O'Neill, who's already had a big night, a single and a double. He has scored 2 of the 4 New York runs. Red Sox infield at double play depth. Mayhay up and in. Outfield around toward left for O'Neill. They give him a lot of room in right center. You see how far over toward left the center fielder Lewis is. Bragg more or less straight away and right. Right down the middle comes Mayhay with a 91-mile-per-hour fastball. Strike two. Good change of speeds that had O'Neill fooled.
91-mile-an-hour fastball to an 80-mile-an-hour pitch that had O'Neill way out in front, and good location. Kept it away from the lefty.
Mayhay struggled in spring training, started the year in Pawtucket after impressing late last year. Now he's back in the big leagues in a big spot. Check swing. No, said the third base umpire Mike Riley.
Well, the crowd doesn't like it, but I think that's a good call by Riley, and we'll get a good look at it here. Looks like he did have control of the head of that bat.
He did indeed. It was not a swing. The correct call made by Riley. Now it's 2-2 on O'Neill. O'Neill is grounded into 6 double plays. He pulls one foul. Oh, and an error made. Jose Cardinal, the first base coach, had to go right through his legs.
Didn't exactly get the backside down on that one.
In the dirt, blocked by Varitek, and now it's a full count.
This has been a very uncomfortable looking at bat for O'Neill against Mayhay, but he's run the count to 3-2.
And now Mayhay's a ball away from seeing the Red Sox load the bases on 3 straight walks. This bullpen has been so good lately. With a shaky inning for Corsi. Now Mayhay with the runners going. The pitch is strike 3. The throw to third, not in time. It's a double steal. O'Neill didn't like the called third strike from McClellan. Once again, that absolutely aggravating style of McClellan when he takes forever to call it, so nobody in the ballpark knows if it's ball 4 or strike 3, with the possible exception of the catcher and batter if he says anything before the hands come up. But his showboat style is a little tiresome in situations like this. He's still in the crouch as Varitek goes to third with absolutely no signal.
Well, he had to say something because Varitek did not hesitate. He went right to third base right away, not waiting for the call. O'Neill doesn't like the call, but the 2 runners advance in a scoring position on the double steal.
When you're 31-9 as the Yankees are and you're Joe Torre, you can afford to take some gambles. A big pop-up off the bat of Tino Martinez. Merloni makes the catch and gets the ball back into Varitek. Those had to be anxious moments for Merloni. Still an infant in Major League Baseball. On a gusty night at Fenway under a huge pop-up, and he made the play.
Looks like Jimmy Williams is not going to let Bernie Williams hit right-handed again in this ballpark as he makes the call for his closer, Tom Gordon.
Big hand for Mayhay. And a big hand for Gordon. Gordon has been the best closer in baseball to this point in the season. The Red Sox will look for him to continue. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox television network.
Wheel drive. By Dunkin' Donuts. Something fresh is always brewing here. By National Tire and Battery. Where everything you want, nothing you'd expect. By Speedy. And by New England Ford. See your New England Ford dealer today.
A job well done by Ron Mayhay. Came in with 2 men on and nobody out. 2 men are still on. They've each moved up a base. Now there are 2 outs, and here's Tom Gordon. Outstanding numbers and an outstanding performance all season long, provided the Red Sox by Gordon.
17 saves for Gordon. He is 4 ahead of Wetland, who's in second place with 13.
Bernie Williams, the batter. He bats left-handed. Gordon in with a curveball for strike 1. The tying run is at third for New York. They could reclaim the lead as the go-ahead run is at second. Williams hit a 3-run homer that started the scoring in the 4th inning. He joined us late. The Yankees led 4-0. The Red Sox have scored 5 unanswered runs to take the lead. The 0-1. Swing and a miss at the fastball. 11 saves in his last 12 appearances. He has not allowed a run in that stretch in 13 2/3 innings. Gordon took too much time and Williams asked out. Now Gordon and Varitek want to be certain with this big 0-2 pitch upcoming.
They almost hate to do this. You get momentum on your side, a couple of quick strikes, the crowd's into it, but they've got to get together on the sides, make sure they know what they want to throw in this situation.
This was the home run hit by Williams. He decided to hit right-handed against Wakefield, and he hit a bomb over everything into the parking lot across, lands down straight, and run down quickly by an alert souvenir hunter. The 0-2 pitch. Late swing and a foul ball. It nearly got Willie Randolph in the third base coach's box.
Didn't quite get that one where they wanted it. You saw Varitek set up way inside. That ball stayed right over the heart of the plate.
Red Sox lead 5-4. The Yankees have 2 men in scoring position with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Another 0-2 breaking ball. Williams started to pull the trigger and did not, and Varitek made a nice play on a ball that really dropped quickly. We were discussing during the break the possibility you could elect to pitch around Williams and work to Strawberry, but these numbers well known by Jimmy Williams and Joe Kerrigan. Williams has really struggled against Gordon, and Flash has gone right after him in this at bat. The 1-2. Little pop fly and left. O'Leary is there. Inning over. Red Sox heading to the bottom of the 8th. This is the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network. So it's still 5-4 Red Sox. They'd like to pad the lead for Gordon with an eye toward the 9th. Troy O'Leary leads off for the 2nd straight inning. He started the 4-run rally last inning with a home run down the right field line. John Valentin to follow, and then Mike Benjamin against reliever Mike Stanton. Ball 1 high to O'Leary. Troy's homer is only hit in 3 at bats. That homer cut the deficit for the Red Sox to 4-2. The Red Sox batted around last inning. Out of play to the left. 1-1. In the 9th against Tom Gordon, the Yankees have batters 6, 7, and 8 due up. Darryl Strawberry, Tim Raines, and Jorge Posada. Stanton's 1-1. The borderline strike, and O'Leary didn't like it.
Well, at least for O'Leary, it's on strike 2 and not strike 3.
Breaking ball missed. Stanton pitched for the Red Sox in 1995 and 1996. He was with the Red Sox for exactly 1 year. Came to the Red Sox on July 31st of 1995 from Atlanta. He was traded to Texas July 31st the following year. He strikes out O'Leary for the first out of the bottom of the 8th.
And Stan's been tough after that first pitch to Bragg. The first pitch to Bragg, of course, was a base hit to drive in 2, but then he struck out Vaughn, got Leyritz on a ground ball, and now strikes out O'Leary. Once he gets ahead of lefties, he's tough. Bragg didn't give him a chance to get ahead.
And Stanton gave up that hit. But Jeff Nelson is on the hook for the loss for the Yankees if it stays this way. John Valentin takes the fastball for a strike. Valentin had a bloop hit on the heels of the O'Leary homer last inning to keep the momentum going. He scored on the double by Jason Varitek. That cut the lead to 1. And Bragg's 2-run single put the Red Sox on top. Back to a breaking ball missed. The Yankees starter Ramiro Mendoza went 6 1/3 innings. He gave up 4 runs, all earned on 8 hits, including 1 home run. Mendoza did not issue a walk. He fanned 3. He threw a wild pitch, hit a batter, threw 81 pitches, 53 strikes. Popped up right back here. Would have been a career ender.
Yeah, that would have been it. Right now, I'd be rolling around in the screen.
That's right. Chance for a great diving catch, but as they say, it's not the fall, it's the sudden stop.
Not even the rivalry can make me do that.
No. Valentin in protective mode at 1 and 2. Well, I get the sense your pulse quickens when the Yankees come to town. You still have some feelings for them.
Well, if it means something, I mean, this is great tonight. I mean, this is as live the ballpark has been in a long time. You get the first place club playing the second best team in the league.
Look out. Off to our right. Valentin taking aim at the broadcast level here.
Sometimes, a lot of times, Sean, I think they hype this thing way too much, and the players kind of saying, what the heck are they talking about? What's going on? But when you got 2 teams playing well, and one happens to be from New York and one from Boston, it's a lot of fun.
Valentin, the bat goes flying. The ball winds up going to the right. The barrel of the bat went to the left. And they're looking to make sure everybody's okay. There's the bat handle over by the Red Sox dugout where Valentin dropped it. The rest of the bat went to the third base box seats. The ball went to the first base box seats.
Watch out behind third base. Right here is Valentin. I don't know which one went further, the ball or the bat. Valentin prefers to watch where the ball went. The fans have to be alert.
We have that debate sometimes with my father when we play golf. Which went further, the ball or the club?
So there are other people that let clubs go, huh?
Inadvertently, of course. Well, of course, that's all in jest. That would never happen. The 1-2 pitch. The ball high. (5-4) Red Sox, bottom of the 8th. Mike Stanton trying to keep the Yankees within 1. He's 30 years old, from Houston, Texas. And he gets Valentin on the breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Stanton. He's now retired 4 in a row and has struck out 3 of those 4 batters.
That's what he likes to do against right-handers too. He likes to start it off the outside part of the plate, actually in the left-hander's batter's box, and pick up the outside corner. Right-handers have a tendency to quit on that curveball, and it's a very effective pitch for him against righties.
2 outs and the base is empty, and the batter is Mike Benjamin, who takes a ball down and away. Benjamin 0 for 3. Benjamin and Mo Vaughn, the only Red Sox in the lineup tonight without a hit. That's line to left and misplayed by Raines. He lost the ball. Benjamin on his way around second. He'll try for third. The relay not in time. Williams had to run it down on the warning track after Raines appeared to lose the ball, either in the lights or against the background. And Benjamin's at third with 2 outs.
Sometimes those low line drives, the left fielder will lose it in the light tower over first base, but not quite sure if that's what happened to Raines. A lot of times you see him put the glove up for protection, but I think he may just have misplayed that one as it was sinking quickly. It gets by him, and Benjamin with a gamble here with 2 outs. They overthrew the first cutoff man, and that's the reason he was safe at third base.
It's a single for Benjamin, an error charge to Tim Raines, allowing him to reach third. So that's the first error of the night for either team. The Red Sox pick up an insurance run if Jason Varitek could deliver another big hit, as he did last inning. He takes a breaking ball low and inside. Varitek doubled last inning to drive in the run that got the Red Sox within 1. He came around and scored the game-tying run. That double knocked the starter Mendoza out of the game. A ball inside. 2 balls and no strikes on Varitek. Look, as you say, Jerry, he's making a bid to become the regular catcher for the Red Sox. He's done everything right tonight.
Red Sox like his defensive skills. He's throwing very well, and he's had some clutch base hits.
1 for 3 tonight, Varitek. That's to right. Long run, O'Neill, and he is there. And the Red Sox leave Benjamin at third. We go to the ninth. The Red Sox leading 5-4 on the 68 Sports Red Sox Television Network.
I'm already a winner. My Cats.
Red Sox with the 5-4 lead thanks to Darren Bragg. The Bo Sox, the official booster club of the Boston Red Sox, will sponsor 10 youngsters between the ages of 8 and 15 to attend former Red Sox second baseman Mike Andrews' baseball camp for the week of July 12th. Just write a letter to the Bo Sox Club explaining why you would like to attend and send to Bo Sox Club Baseball Camp Contest, 4 Yorkie Way, Boston, Mass. 02215. Entries must be received no later than June 8th.
Tom Gordon trying to do it one more time for the Red Sox. Leads the majors in saves with 17, a chance to make it 18 tonight. Prior to tonight, he had appeared in 24 games. The Red Sox 22-2 in those 24. Darryl Strawberry begins the ninth for New York. The Red Sox have a shift on in the infield. 3 men on the right side. Only Valentin on the left. Fastball high, ball 1. You see the shortstop Benjamin, the right side of second base. But the outfield plays him the other way. They play him around the left. Strawberry 0 for 3 tonight. Sends one high in the air and out of play to the left. Tim Raines on deck, then Jorge Posada.
Now, Strawberry basically a fly ball hitter, and they feel if he hits the ball on the ground, he's going to pull it. But he may be late on Gordon's fastball, and that's one of the reasons they shaded the other way in the outfield.
The 1-1. Breaking ball and a good one outside part of the plate for strike 2. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball, and Strawberry got to it. The high hard one from Gordon at 95 miles per hour.
Since being a closer, his velocity has picked up. Can't throw 95 for 9 innings as a starter. He couldn't, but he can certainly do it for a couple of hitters late in the game.
He struck him out.
Well, That's by design for Gordon. He wanted to go upstairs with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball up and out of the zone and get Strawberry to chase it. Here's the sequence of pitches to Strawberry. There's the fastball up, takes it. Fastball, he'll foul it off. That curveball picks up the outside corner. He'll try to go upstairs. He fouls it off now even higher on the last pitch.
Gordon works to Tim Raines. Ball 1 up and outside. Raines 1 for 3. He singled in the third. Since then he's grounded to second and struck out. 5-4 Red Sox. 1 out, bases empty in the Yankee ninth. Red Sox 1 point trailed 4-0. And it was looking bleak with Ramiro Mendoza cruising along. 1-1 now on Raines. He's had a tough time with Gordon. 6 for 28 lifetime, a .214 average. Little roller to short. Benjamin off the bag, and Vaughn got the tag on Raines. Mo Vaughn has to make that play yet again, and unfortunately he's become an expert on coming off the bag to the home plate side and making the sweep tag.
And it looked like if Tim Raines goes into a slide, he may get underneath the tag of Vaughn. Instead, he elects to stay up, and Vaughn has a chance to tag him on the back. Raines slides right there. He's not going to get him. He's going to slide away from the tag. He's become an expert on that play, hasn't he?
Yes, he sure has. And as you've said many times, it's a risk of injury every time. Jorge Posada, the batter. Breaking ball for strike 1. The Yankees down to their final out. Posada trying to keep them alive. 0 for 3 tonight. Is grounded into a double play. Fly to right. And popped to third. Gordon trying to end Joe Torre's team's 5-game winning streak. Backdoor breaking ball missed. Fans again on their feet. 33,605. And they've been entertained from start to finish. The 1-1. Breaking ball, strike 2.
A lot of soft stuff. Let's see if he goes upstairs with the fastball.
The 1-2 pitch. He struck him out. Between the Red Sox and the Yankees in 1998 goes to the Red Sox. Paul O'Neill ponders what might have been. Darren Bragg with the game-winning hit. His 2-run single put the Red Sox ahead, gave them lead for the first, and as it turned out, only time tonight. And Tom Gordon, perfect again tonight. He faced 4 batters and retired all 4, and he certainly now gives you the feeling, Jerry, when he comes in, the ball game's over.
And he's done it in a lot of different ways, not only for just the 3 outs in the 9th. He comes in the 8th inning, and at times he'll get 5 outs in a game. He stayed with the curveball that time. I thought he was going to go upstairs with the high hard one, but no, he felt good with the curveball and picks up the strikeout.
The totals for the ball game: the Red Sox had 5 runs on 11 hits and no errors. Boston left 6 men on base. The Yankees 4 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error, and they stranded 4. Tim Wakefield, the winner, he benefited from the Red Sox comeback. He's now 6-1. He's won his last 6 starts. And the Red Sox are 8-2 in the 10 games started by Wakefield this year. Jeff Nelson faced 2 batters, didn't retire either of them. and took the loss 1-1, and Gordon saved at his 18th to lead the majors. One of the heroes of the night, Jason Varitek. He's standing by with John Holt.
Thank you, Sean. Jason, a tremendous win for the Red Sox tonight, and you had a wonderful game throwing out 2 base runners and a gigantic hit for yourself tonight.
Well, I think that, you know, the way we're playing really hard. And fortunately, some things happened in the right situations tonight, and we were able to score a few key runs.
You look very comfortable in that catching spot. Tell us about Tim Wakefield's effort tonight.
Tim did a great job. You know, he held him down. He just had one pitch that went out of the yard, and other than that, I mean, he pitched a great game. You know, we had some key pitching coming in late in the game with Mayhay and then Flash. It was a great team effort.
The Sox are nearly unbeatable at home, and you continue to come back again tonight. Does anything surprise you with this ball club?
No, I mean, everybody's been playing hard, and it's been a lot of different people contributing, and it's great to play in front of these fans.
Jason, thank you. Good game tonight.
Thank you.
Sean and Jerry, back to you.
Thank you very much, John Holt. So Tom Gordon has not allowed a run now over his last 13 appearances. The Red Sox are 23-2 in the 25 games in which he has appeared. And Jerry, I think this was the Red Sox season to date in miniature. Another comeback, a lot of different heroes, the role players playing key roles tonight, including Jason Varitek.
Now, the fun thing about watching this team so far, Sean, the fact that they're never out of a ball game, and you can thank the bullpen for that. You know, they get a chance to come back. The bullpen holds them. What a great job by Mayhay and, of course, Gordon to finish it out. But they're in a lot of games, and when you're in a lot of games, you're going to win a lot of games.
The Red Sox are back within 4 games of the first-place Yankees with 2 more games remaining this weekend. It'll be tough to match the drama we had tonight. 2.5 hours to play the ball game, every second of it enjoyable. Final score of tonight's game, the Red Sox 5 and the Yankees 4. Our next telecast, as you saw, Sunday afternoon against the Yankees, on deck with Doug Brown at 12:30, followed by the Red Sox and the Yankees, Brett Saberhagen and David Cohn. Now for Jerry Remy, Sean McDonough saying so long from Fenway Park. This has been a presentation of the 68 Sports Boston Red Sox Television Network. Let's return you now to our 68 Sports studios. Here's Doug Brown.
All right, Sean and Jerry, thanks so much. Save number 18 of this season, 18 out of 19 now for Tom Gordon in the closer's role. And holding the Yankees to 4 runs, no mean feat. This New York club coming into tonight through the first 40 games of the year, averaging 6 runs per ball game. So the Yankees finally, in their 41st game of the year, have their 10th loss. They are now 31-10, and the Red Sox, I make it 30-10, I beg your pardon, their 40th game of the year. The Yankees are now 30-10, and the Red Sox return to a tried and true formula. They spot the Yankees a 4-run lead and then come back in the late innings to win it in dramatic style by a score of 5-4. Lots of heroes in this one. Sean mentioned the bullpen. Of course, there were several key at-bats in that big 4-run 7th inning, but let's talk about our New England Toyota dealers player of the game. Brought to you by Toyota, where you'll find exceptional value every day. I mentioned there were a lot of key at-bats in that 7th inning, but this was the biggest one of all. The 2-run base hit to center by Darren Bragg off the left-hander Mike Stanton. The first pitch he threw after entering the ball game. Bragg enjoying it, the crowd going wild. The Red Sox taking their first lead of the night with that 2-run single by Darren Bragg in the 7th. He had also driven in a run on a ground ball in the 6th inning, so he was 2 for 4, 3 runs batted in, the big game-winning hit in the 7th, and Darren Bragg's batting average goes up 9 notches to 289, and he now has 16 runs batted in on the season. The Red Sox win it in dramatic fashion by a score of 5-4. We've got lots more to talk about on this one. We'll check the highlights, and we'll also check the scores around Major League Baseball. Don't go away. We're just getting started. Coming right back.